happy Monday, happy MLK Day, and hope you guys had a great weekend. And it was a pretty chaotic sports weekend, to be completely honest here. And if you are, what do I do? You got something going?
Yeah, get that.
Oh, yes. Smack it around. There we go. Hey, let's do it again. How you guys doing? Hope you are having a great holiday Monday, MLK Day. It's January 19th, episode 120 of the Ryan Ripken Show here. And look, we got a lot to talk about. A lot. The divisional round in the NFL was chaotic, sloppy, whatever you want to describe it. There was just a lot of action. But then probably the biggest action took place a few hours ago where the Bills made a change. Sean McDermott was fired. We'll get into all of that. And then John Harbaugh was officially announced as the head coach of the New York Giants. Well, one of the leading reporters on this entire situation got to talk to John Harbaugh on the phone. Ian O'Connor of The Athletic is going to join us at 3:15 to talk about everything that happened and how there was a little chance that John might have not been the head coach of the football Giants. And then, we're going to move on to a little bit more towards the Ravens specifically. And with the conversation of Sean McDermott being gone, you're wondering, are the Ravens or the Bills a better head coaching opportunity moving forward? It's actually surprising, the debate that we've had, and we'll love to see the comments in the section or in the comments on YouTube. That'd be great. Sorry, lost for words. I'm a little bit sleep deprived here. I'll explain in a second. And then the second half of the show, baseball. Harold Reynolds is saying that there's a player that a team really cannot live without. If you want to find out who that is, stay tuned. And then we'll talk about the national championship tonight, Miami versus the Hoosiers. And I'm sure Hoosiers. Probably Zach Bollinger has a Bolly's bet for you. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show, we're live Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time, right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And yes, I'm doing a little double the dip, as you guys know. Brad, you heard me earlier. I was on 105 from 6 to 10 for the Big Bad Morning Show. But Brad, how are we doing?
Doing good. It is back to Monday. Overreaction Monday. I have a lot to say. Rock and I went back and forth about Caleb Williams last night.
I saw that.
Just had to say it.
Well, you know what? The Bears had a great season. They had a great run. Rams, though, I honestly thought the Rams, Seahawks, that was destined to be. We can talk about that. Who also survived this weekend and the softball winter meetings, Mr. Zach Bollinger. Bolly.
Woo! It was a fun weekend. Obviously football and everything. It just
What? Oh.
This entire weekend, sports-wise, it felt like it was one of those things where you knew what was going to happen, but then it still happened and you were surprised. Like, I thought there was a good chance the Broncos beat the Bills. But then when you see it happen and it's like, oh, it's over, Broncos win, you're sitting there and you're like, oh, crap. We were talking about before. If it's not this year for Josh Allen, it's never going to happen. So you're like, wow, that's happening. Then you're like, okay, the Rams are going to win this game. I think they're the better team than the Bears. Then, holy crap, here come the Bears. Oh, Bears have this in the bag, driving down the field, need 3 points. Bears are about to go to the NFC champion. Nope. Matthew Stafford and the Rams defense get the ball back, one chance to win it. I mean, just a chaotic weekend of sports. CJ Stroud, ass. I'm sorry.
It was major ass.
That whole game was major.
That whole game. That was the ass of the weekend.
Yeah.
Like the Seahawks 49ers was an ass kicking.
What you knew was going to happen. So like nobody was really shocked by that.
I was shocked.
I was a little bit shocked that it was a 35 point, but I mean, like looking back, when Shaheed took the opening kickoff back, you're like, okay.
Well, they won it by 2 scores. They knew the game was over.
Oh, at that point. That point. But going into it, you're like, all right, if this gets off to a slow start and it's close, division rival, but the 49ers just didn't have the weapons.
No, George Kittle. That's what I'm saying.
There is a difference, especially in playoffs, when we're talking about just ass and playing like ass. Josh Allen would even tell you himself he played like ass. That was an entertaining ass, though. That was like
that was
like he
that was a good looking ass.
He's
good looking ass.
He just throws the ball behind, like, and it's like chaotic. CJ
Chaotic
Stroud,
ass. Yeah.
I'm watching and I'm like,
This is an ugly
are
ass.
you okay? What is even going through your mind right now? Like, there's two different ways to have just a horrible performance in the playoffs. It can be an entertaining horrible, or it's the entire internet asking, can we please see the backup?
Yeah.
Can we get Mills Mafia in here?
Oh, yeah.
Davis Mills over CJ Stroud in the second half.
Bro,
It
I was
that
actually
bad.
surprised that he didn't get pulled into the game. I don't know if it was like they just figured, hey, we'll just run with the guy that got us here, Sands from 3 games. But like at that point, I would be like, you know, it's playoffs. It's like, let's just do or die. Let's do something different.
Well, here's the thing in that game, the Texans-Pats game, if you watched any of it, the Texans were leading 10-7 and had the ball.
Yeah.
And then Stroud gets hit, moving backwards. That thing just floats up there. The Pats score then. And then it's another turnover, and the Pats score again. In the blink of an eye, it's a 10-7 game, and it turns into a 21-10 game advantage of the Pats. And you still felt like if Stroud could just play somewhat, I think ass is the word today, just not be complete ass, a little bit ass, then the Texans win that game. The defense was so good for Houston overall, but too much. But I think, honestly, the theme here for the weekend, don't take care of the football, you're going to lose. The Bills in that game lost by 3 and in overtime, and everyone's going to look at that one play. Was it an interception? Was it a catch? I don't know what the definitions are. If we're going to go off of maybe what we've seen, I would say interception.
Yeah.
But also I do understand there's a lot of people who are going, well, what is the rule? I think the NFL just needs to do a better job overall of establishing that moving forward. But Bills had 5 turnovers in this game. Broncos had 1. James Cook had 117 rush yards. The leading rusher for the Denver Broncos was Bo Nix with 29 yards. And the Denver Broncos are advancing now with Jarrett Stidham because Bo Nix broke his ankle on one of those runs towards the end of the game, second to last play. But the Broncos are moving on because of mistakes. The team that made more mistakes in the divisional round went home. The Bears, same thing. Caleb, had 2 or 3 picks?
3.
Overall, great year for the Bears. The cardiac Bears, amazing season. Him backing up 30, 40 yards and then just hucking that thing up. Cinema. It was cinema.
That was ridiculous.
But the turnovers, you don't take care of the ball in the playoffs, you're not going to win. And right now, the Seahawks and the Rams have a date for the NFC Championship, and the Pats and the Broncos, which they've looked ugly at times this year, and yet they're the last 2 standing in the AFC. Why? They played the cleanest football when they had to, and now they're 1 win away from going to the Super Bowl, which everyone had on their bingo card, Pats versus Broncos, right, Zach?
To start the season, obviously not, but
that's what I'm saying, Zach.
Well, okay, I was going to say even halfway through this season, like I still have no faith. I mean, like it sucks now saying like, oh, I have no faith in the Broncos. Okay, yeah, I don't have faith in Jarrett Stidham. But even with Bo Nix, like it felt like we've talked about all year, like they're up there with the Bears on like they can't keep getting away with this category where they're like, hey, we're going to play some bad football. Like I always say, like Bo Nix will usually have 3 quarters of like, I think Bo Nix is bad at football. And then he's like, it's Bo Nix time. And then he goes and wins you the game. And he's doing all this crazy stuff.
Like Caleb Williams was the same way.
Yeah,
Caleb Williams was also getting to that. And it feels like that's where these guys have taken advantage of it. It just really sucks that Bo Nix is not going to play in the AFC Championship because that actually would have been a really fun game.
Yes.
It would have been. It really
I think
would
it
have
still
been.
can be. Like Jarrett Stidham has the opportunity. Like he wins this game. He's getting a 3-year deal with the Jets next year to be the starter. So like he has so much on the line. Like if he wins this football game, you're convincing the New York Jets that you're the starting quarterback next year. That's where it just starts. But I think the Broncos defense can make this interesting.
Listen, if Drake May plays like he did against Houston and Broncos show up, the Broncos could very well win this game, especially if Jarrett Stidham does not lose the game for the Broncos. All he has to do is just manage the game. And we've seen this from the Broncos all year long. the defense just shows up and the offense doesn't make dumb mistakes, they will win that game.
Here's the thing. It's 3 words, ladies and gentlemen. Protect the ball. You do that, you're going to have a chance. Like, that's the reality for Denver. Protect the ball, you're going to have a chance. I do believe that. If you don't, well, you know what? It's been a great year. It's the same thing on the other side. The reason why some of these games, even for the Patriots, even though the Texans defense, that was the best defense in my opinion as far as being the most wreaking havoc, forcing turnovers, that was in the playoff field that was left. I mean, the Denver Broncos defense is sensational, don't get me wrong. But Drake May, they had some turnovers. That game against the Chargers was ugly. Like, they haven't won pretty yet. And the games have stayed interesting because of that ugliness so far. So Broncos and Pats, wouldn't be surprised if that's an ugly one. I do really believe that the Rams and the Seahawks, that's going to be juicy. That's going to be the matchup, because if you guys remember, Rams were in complete control in Seattle. Like, that was for the 1 seed back in the end of the regular season. And then Shaheed had a punt return touchdown. That wild 2-point conversion that was deflected, but then grabbed, that it wasn't a dead ball, but it was a dead ball, but it wasn't at the same time. And the Seahawks come back and win that game. And then they get the 1 seed. So I think the Rams and Seahawks, I think that's going to be a great game. Really is going to be a toss-up. Obviously, I know a lot of people in Baltimore would like to see Mike McDonald have success. And also some fans in Baltimore will be upset if he has success because they wish that he was having success in Baltimore. Yeah. Which, by the way, I want to go back to this. You were not firing John Harbaugh after the AFC Championship game to replace him with Mike McDonald after having the year that you had. I know it's great in hindsight, and I'm so happy for Mike McDonald. I wish it could have worked out in Baltimore, but guess what? It's working out for him in Seattle. The timing wasn't right, and the Seahawks now are 1 game away from the Super Bowl. And here's a little fun fact here. A Mike McDonald coached defense, whether he's been a defensive coordinator or head coach, the last 3 games, they have not allowed a single point in the second half.
Yep. His entire career.
It's pretty good so far. Pretty good so far here. But I digress here. And if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're from the Baltimore area, so we're going to cover a lot of things in this Maryland region. But we do talk a lot about national storylines, and it does help when they cross over. And I mean, the biggest national storyline that has been over the last week plus has been the departure of John Harbaugh and where he goes next. So you guys know we try to bring on the best guests that can give you the best answers to this whole situation. And it's funny because our next guest coming on, I was texting him last week, and we had some dates situated. And then he's waiting because John Harbaugh, it looks like the deal's done, then it's not done. And then finally, the press conference is going to be tomorrow, so he can give us all the details. And if you guys haven't checked out his work on The Athletic, tremendous piece. He's been covering it all. He's a best-selling author. And Ian, when you're ready, just give me the thumbs up. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring on Ian O'Connor. Ian, how are you doing today?
What's up, Ryan? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired, but I feel like you have to be pretty exhausted through this whole process. I feel like when I started texting you about this, it felt like it was going to be a done deal. And then this thing just took some time. So for those that don't know about what you've covered, give your background a little bit first, and then I'm going to dive into a little bit more of the questions, because you've been on this thing from the jump when John Harbaugh and the Giants were making that connection.
Yeah, my background, Ryan, is basically I've been a columnist for a long time, based in New York. I've worked for some national outlets like The Athletic now. And I met John Harbaugh 10 years ago at his house, spent 3 or 4 hours there doing a piece for ESPN.com. So was able to establish something of a good working relationship with him. And that carried over till this search. And I knew that the Giants were talking about him before he got fired. So the day before, they were having internal discussions. In fact, I think it was a week or two before they were talking about him. They were ready to pounce if he got fired. I do know that when John walked in that building, obviously that day he thought he was getting a 19th season in Baltimore. That didn't happen. And I think the advanced work the Giants did on him, and I'm certain that, you know how it is in sports, word gets out. And it wasn't like Harbaugh was surprised that the Giants were interested. In fact, he was looking at teams in case he got fired, and the Giants were on his informal list on the top early on, very early, before he got fired even. So this was a marriage that should have happened, and it did, because the Giants have been bad for 14 years, basically, really bad. And John Harbaugh has been the opposite of that for 18 years. So they needed a coach with some credibility, somebody who had won a Super Bowl. The Giants have never hired a Super Bowl winning coach. So this is a really good fit.
It feels like it, and in some ways, and you talked to John recently, and that's all in your article. And actually, we're going to pull up a couple points of Zach with that tweet when you have it ready. I'll give you the thumbs up for it. But, almost I feel like this was a relief for John. Of course you want to come back, but you sit there and you got to process, okay, it's done in Baltimore. It was a great run. And the human element, as we know in sports, they're not robots. It is a frustrating ending, but the Giants were aggressive from the jump. And it seems like almost in this case, this is a move for the Giants and a move for John Harbaugh, where there's an excitement level. In the fan base in Baltimore, it felt like people were really split 50-50 or even more of saying we need change. And meanwhile, with the Giants, and in your reporting, the Giants made it clear, John, you're our guy. We're going to come to you. We want you. And the fan base seems to be behind all of that. That's at least what I've seen. But would you provide a little bit more insight into all of those inner workings as it led into the negotiation?
What would have been interesting, Ryan, if Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh were fired or let go the same day, what would have happened then? And I don't know. I think the Giants might have had Tomlin at 1 and Harbaugh at 1A, but that would have been an interesting derby if that unfolded that way. But it didn't happen, and Harbaugh was let go, and Tomlin was in the playoffs briefly. But that gave John that window to get established with the Giants. They loved him right away. As soon as they met with him, they knew they wanted him. It was just a matter of holding off the Titans and the Falcons and maybe the Dolphins a little bit. The Cleveland Browns were in there for a little bit. And the Giants felt pretty good as soon as they met with John that they would win this race. And they had to. They had no alternative plan here that really was going to satisfy a fan base that has really seen a lot of lousy football since the last Super Bowl championship in the 2011 season. And they've hired 4 straight coaches, Ryan, who have failed in an epic way. 3 of them were first-time head coaches. The 4th, Pat Shermer, was 9-23 in Cleveland, and guess what? He went 9-23 in New York. So they needed a head coach with a winning record who had done some winning in the postseason. John, of course, has 13 postseason victories. He's got the Super Bowl. Granted, in recent years, there have been some disappointments in the playoffs. I can assure you right now, New York Giants fans would sign up for that in a heartbeat. If their biggest problem was disappointing playoff finishes, they absolutely would sign up for that. And so I think John at age 63 needed a new adventure. It was stale there on both sides. I think there was mutual fatigue in that relationship with Lamar Jackson. And it was time for him to go coach another quarterback in Jackson Dart or Cam Ward if he decided to go to Tennessee. And I think the Ravens, I think the fan base, they were ready for a change too. Very similar to the situation in Pittsburgh, where most of the fan base, believe it or not, wanted Tomlin out. And it was time for him to go too. And it's amazing that those 2 guys go out basically at the same time, given the rivalry and the fact that they were in that division forever together. So Harbaugh, I've never seen, I would say in New York, the hiring of a coach met with such approval from a fan base since Pat Riley in the early 90s, hired by the New York Knicks, of course, after he won 4 championships with the Showtime Lakers. Maybe Bill Parcells with the Jets in 97. But this is the biggest hire. In my 40 years of doing this, this is the biggest hire the New York Giants have ever made.
And that's I guess I would say that's a compliment in this sense, right? Of all the years of covering that's how big football is. The New York Football Giants. That's the nickname for them. They're the football giants. Now, they haven't really been playing like the football giants for the last decade plus. Like you said, 2011 and beyond hasn't been very fun for Jets or for Giants fans. It's never been fun for Jets fans. Zach, can you pull up the tweet real quickly? You put this out yesterday or today. And also, I got to give you props on the Mariano Rivera reference there, the closer reference. You know what? As you know, I come from a baseball family, so I always appreciate the closer analogy. But with all of this that's happened, because as you said, and even in the article, things were hectic. It wasn't smooth. It was, hey, breaking news, it's expected, this is done. And that's when you and I were talking maybe Thursday or Friday. And then every time we had a text, it was, it's not there yet. Things are being held up. You know, maybe could you allude to anything that maybe surprised you, or maybe emphasizing a little bit more on the holdup there? Because from what you described, we know the holdup was the structure of how John would want to report to ownership like he did in Baltimore. But maybe, is there anything that maybe surprised you that took so long to get this done?
Well, I remember late Wednesday night, reports came out that they were finalizing an agreement. And of course, that was the day that John spent the entire day in the New Jersey facility of the Giants, and then had dinner with the Giants. And they verbally agreed to get married that evening. And so reports come out. And I remember contacting John and said, are you willing to give an on-the-record confirmation that this is true? And he wasn't. And he said, it's not done. And he said, those reports are a little premature at least. And he wanted to let the team take the lead on it if they wanted to say anything publicly, which the Giants did not. I guess I expected the following day there to be closure on it. And then as it dragged on, Ryan, it became clear there were issues that had to be ironed out, and it wasn't as close as first reported. And listen, I had a source Saturday saying that at 1 o'clock, if you told me this thing fell apart, I would not be surprised. And there was a deal about an hour and a half later. So it was touch and go for a while. Reporting structure was a big part of this because obviously in Baltimore, John reported to ownership, and the Giants have never had that with a head coach. The head coach always reports to the general manager. They are a GM-centric organization going back decades. And to change that, the Mara family has owned the Giants for more than 100 years. And to ask them to do that, to ask John Mara to do that, it was a very tough ask. And I think the merger of 100 years of the Mara way of doing business with 18 years of the John Harbaugh winning machine in Baltimore, I compared it to the AFL-NFL merger in 1970. It was complicated. And it just took them until Saturday afternoon to get to the finish line, and really for John Mara to say, okay, basically I'm going to sign off on the New York Giants for the first time being a coach-driven organization. And John will drive it and pretty much everything about it. And it is time for the Giants to change. And so I think this is a marriage that will work, and obviously time will tell.
I mean, you're right. Time will tell. Change is not always easy, especially when you've been doing it that way for so long. And that reference about the Mara family right there, the timeline, I didn't realize 100 years. When you say it that way, that's a really damn long time. But the other part, I think what fans were worried about for the Giants in this case is if John Harbaugh was a sensitive subject with how fans viewed the Ravens moving forward, I would say that the same would be said for Giants GM Joe Schoen. Like, that's where the conversation was. Could they work together? You know, the rumors were, because apparently John had all these demands, and that it was he would choose his GM. He wanted to have this amount for the money for his staff, right? All these rumors that are out there. Clearly, they're going to work together. Is there anything maybe you could debunk of all that in this circumstance? But I know for Giants fans and probably all football fans, that's something that people were the most curious about with the relationship.
Yeah, he was not going to enter the organization with a GM who's been 13-38 over the last 3 years and not have any personnel power. That was not ever going to happen. That was understood even by Joe Schoen. So the question is, how much power? Does he need absolute control over the roster? over the draft. And those were the issues that needed to be ironed out. And I think that for the first time again, to have a head coach report directly to ownership and John Mara, that it took a while for the Giants to get there. I think Joe Shane realized early in the process he was the lead recruiter, and he was on top of John's agent, Brian Harlan, who did a great job in this process. He called, I think as soon as John was fired, Joe Shane must have called 3 times in the first 90 minutes. So they were all in on this, and Shane was leading that. And then when you got to the final couple of days, when it came to crunch time, Ryan, Shane took himself out of it because the issues really were about him and Harbaugh and how they were going to divvy up the personnel power. And so he took himself out of it. He recused himself. And the decision was in the laps of John Mara and his partner, Steve Tisch, 2 owners of the Giants, majority owners. And they decided to give John Harbaugh what he wanted. And it wasn't just reporting directly to Mara. It was also to be able to impact the entire organization, all the different departments and areas, everything, security, media relations, training, analytics, really you name it, which is what I said in my column today, that John was going to be able to put or have an impact in all those areas. And he deserved it. He earned it the hard way. 180 wins in Baltimore, Super Bowl championship, 8 playoff wins on the road, which is a league record. And the Giants have had nothing like that going on inside their football operations for the last 14 years. So Harbaugh was not going to report to a GM who was 13-38 the last 3 years. And the Giants understood that.
Well, it just makes me curious. What if the Giants get off to a slow start next year? And, John will be back then, but does that mean Joe Shane will be back? That's the whole conversation in there. But, it makes sense. The power personnel. Now I'm just curious, and I'm afraid here as a Baltimore Ravens fan, is like my worst fear in this case is Pat Ricard's going to leave Baltimore because John loves his fullbacks, and it's going to be Cam Scatteraboo and Jackson Dart and Tyrone Tracy. And they're going to love Pat up there. You know what, Pat? He's not leaving. I'm not going to let him leave. Pancake Pat's got to stay in Baltimore. But one thing, Ian, that was coming to my mind then, and we just were talking about this. Sean McDermott gets fired today. I mean, so now we're going to have this debate later on about Bills or Ravens. I know you said, John, the Titans, it sounds like to you was more appealing because of what could have been offered. Young quarterback, a lot of cap space, new stadium, the whole, given the keys. But I was kind of thinking, is the Bills a better job at this point? Would John have gone to Buffalo? In your mind here, would this have changed anything with the Giants' mind if McDermott was available? Or you always were saying Tomlin 1, Harbaugh 2. But if I'm John, Josh Allen's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're right on the cusp there. This is probably one of the wildest head coaching carousels I've seen in years. I don't know if you have anything that can relate to it.
I don't know if and it's funny because early on it looked like a very uninspiring cycle of candidates going through here. I thought the Giants, I wrote a column before the end of the season saying the Giants coaching search needs a lot of help from the AFC North. And they got it. Now, Tomlin was late, and again, I thought he'd be 1. I would say John's really more of a 1A as opposed to a 2 to Tomlin. And then Stefanski got fired, of course, too, and he was another pretty good option. So, and then now we have all these other basically firings and McDermott being available, and it's actually a great pool of candidates right now. I think that Harbaugh would have taken Buffalo if offered instead of the Giants. I do know that he was talking about the Giants as soon as he got fired. I communicated with him by phone 2 days after Bisciotti let him go, and he was talking an awful lot about the New York Football Giants. And his father wanted him to coach the Giants, and a lot of people around him were saying, hey, could you win in Tennessee with Cam Ward and all that cap space? Could you win in Atlanta with Matt Ryan? Quarterback's iffy, but you've got Robinson, who's an unbelievable player, and an easy division, not easy, but a relatively easy division to win. So, but Buffalo, you have the best player in the sport, arguably anyway, at quarterback in his prime. That would have been tough to turn down. And it would have been fascinating to see if the Bills were open when the Giants were still trying to get John to sign. What would have happened there? My suspicion is he probably would have picked Josh Allen, because how do you not pick him? But I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow at the press conference, I'm sure he'll be asked that question. Now, of course, he's going to say, I would have picked the Giants, but I'll try to get him at some point, put him on truth serum and ask that question and see what he says. But the Giants, as bad as the Giants have been, they were very appealing to him because of their place in the history of the league and the marketplace and what it would mean to win a championship in New York, right? Mark Messier won 5 Stanley Cups in Edmonton. The one Stanley Cup people talk about is the one he won in New York, which ended a 50-year drought in 1994. And so John's aware of that, and I think that was a big part of the appeal of the Giants. Yeah,
I mean, New York sports, it's iconic, but there's been some droughts, no doubt about it. And now you're saying you get some truth serum for John. I might have to ask him myself here when everything, the dust settles. He might be maybe he'll be popping over here. We'll see. People will have to tune in. 2 questions left for you, Zach. You got one for him?
Yeah, Ian, real fast. Obviously, we've talked a lot on this show here about the expectation coming in with a new coach coming into Baltimore, and they are expected to win right away. It's going to be pretty fast Super Bowl or bust expectations. For John going to the Giants, and like we've mentioned, not the most success there in recent past, what do you believe or have maybe even heard of the expectation going forward starting next year of what the Giants season should look like? And maybe is that playoffs? Is that we want to compete more? Where do you see the expectation going?
Well, Zach, if he goes 8-9, they'll build a statue for John in year 1. But he agreed to the deal, and I was on the phone with him a half hour after he agreed to it. And he said, I expect to be a playoff team next year. Now, the NFC East, I know he's not afraid of the competition in the NFC East, even though the Eagles are the likely division champ next year. But I think what he's looking at is going 10-7 and getting a wild card and trying to make a run. But he said, and I wrote this, of course, I expect to make the playoffs next year. There haven't been too many football coaches in New York. The Jets have been losing. The Giants have been losing who've said anything like that. So I think for Giants fans, they needed somebody with credibility to finally say something like that on the record. And he did. He delivered. And he said, we're going to compete for the playoffs every year. We're going to compete for championships. And that's what his program is going to be about. And Giants fans were so happy to finally hear somebody say something like that and put it on the record. So we'll see how his presser goes tomorrow. I think he's good in that situation. So it'll be a home run. And but he's got very small shoes to fill. The last 4 coaches before him failed. Coughlin before that won 2 Super Bowls, but there's been a lot of distance between the two. I was glad to hear Coughlin called him and really encouraged him to take the Giants job. And that meant something to John to hear that from him, somebody he admired. And I think I'd be surprised if 8 years from now, if we have another conversation, that Harbaugh doesn't have that second Super Bowl, because he's got the quarterback he can grow old with. He wants this to be his last job. I think he wants to coach another 10 years till he's 73. And Jackson Dart, I had a conversation with him in July, the first time I met him. And I said, if you could, because he went to Ole Miss, of course, Eli Manning did as well. So Eli's sort of a role model. I said, if you could sign up right now for Eli's career, including the 2 rings, or play it out, what would you do? He said, I'm playing it out. I love Eli, but I'm always going to bet on myself. And Harbaugh knows that story, and he loved that answer. And so this is his kind of quarterback, and I think they'll do some great things together.
It should be a fun dynamic. And, having Todd Monken on, I guess 2 weeks ago now, Todd said John Harbaugh was the greatest coach. Then he had to stop and said, okay, the 2 greatest. He said the greatest NFL coach he worked with, John Harbaugh, college, was Kirby Smart. But he said those 2 minds know how to lead. And that is something that the Giants have been looking for so long. I'm hoping the best for him. And you're right, expectations this first year, hey, you go to the playoffs, everyone's going to be happy. Ironically, what's it going to be in Baltimore, in Buffalo? Hey, who's the next coach that's going to get them to the Super Bowl? So before I get you out of here, Ian, which job in your mind now, looking at this, the infrastructure of the Baltimore Ravens organization, or the Buffalo Bills if you were a new head coach? Because both teams, the pressure's on to win right now. They're not looking for any more division titles. These two coaches got fired because the ownership is looking for one thing and one thing only, to break through to a Super Bowl.
It's a great question. I think those jobs are close. I think Brian Flores would be great in Baltimore. I really think he would match up with the ethos of that town, the physical. He's one of the best defensive coordinators I've ever seen. And he actually did a pretty good job in Miami. He had 2 winning seasons out of 3, maybe some relationship issues he needed to work on and learn from going forward. But man, I don't know where he is in the pecking order in Baltimore, but to me, that would be a perfect fit. But who do you like better, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson? Jackson with the injuries, is Josh Allen a little more durable? I don't know. I think I will say this, because Baltimore has won the Super Bowl and Buffalo hasn't. If you win a Super Bowl in Buffalo, it is a bigger story, and it may be bigger for your legacy because they haven't done it. So if you gave me that choice for that reason alone, I would probably pick Buffalo simply because the Ravens have already done it.
Yeah, well, whoever it is, best of luck, because the pressure's going to be on. But I'm excited to see how it all unfolds here, Ian, and I'm excited to see the Harbaugh era with the Giants. I'm excited to see who the hell the Ravens are going to pick. I mean, they've interviewed, I think, half the coaches around the NFL. From what I've heard, it's up to 16 coaches now and might be counting. Maybe Sean McDermott can add his name to the list. But Ian, for those that are looking for more of your work, where can they follow and find everything that you're doing?
Just at Ian_O'Connor on Twitter, or X, no apostrophe necessary. My books can be found on Amazon.com.
Yeah, I mean, best-selling author again, by the way. I mean, can you help me write a book one day? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think this is probably not a nice thing to say. I was going to say a book about your dad might sell a little better. Not much.
Oh, you just wait for the stories, Ian.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Do you have time for a 30-second story?
I mean, of course, please.
Well, because if you had a nickel for every time somebody said I have a story about your father, you'd be worth what Bill Gates is worth, right? So,
yeah, I probably have $1 billion. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be doing the show right now.
This isn't even that great of a story, but I remember 97 opening day, his first opening day at third base. Jimmy Key starting. So I was working for a newspaper in New York Daily News, and I drove down in the morning for a 1 o'clock start. I got there at like 10 a.m., so I left at 6:30 in the morning, covered the game. He hit a home run, I believe, in the 4th inning that day against Kansas City. Wrote about it afterward, his first full-time game at third base, and then drove back. And I didn't stay in a hotel, and I was in my early 30s, and I thought I could do it. And that's the only time in my life, for 2 seconds, I actually fell asleep on the road driving, and it was a scary thing. And I mean, that happened. And it's funny because when I think of your dad, I think of that day. It was the dumbest thing I've ever tried to do. And so I learned a lesson that day, never to try that again. But it was fitting that on a day like that your dad hit a home run. I mean, I just remember thinking, you knew he was going to do it, and he did it. And it was pretty memorable.
Yeah, he did a couple things okay. He did okay. Yeah. He did okay for himself. I give him a hard time.
He got a perfect attendance record.
Yeah, he just showed up a lot. He showed up for 15 straight years, had 431 home runs and 3,000 hits. And I've been reminded for 7,000 days or however long I've been alive, whatever it's been. But
and when you see the injuries in sports these days, how often guys are out, to think of what he did, it's really superhuman that he just got out there and was available every single day. It was amazing to watch. It really was.
Especially finding out how well he took care of his body.
Yeah, his recipe for that, a cooler beer, that really did wonders. And I swear that, honestly, if we're looking at sponsors and partners were big back in the day, Budweiser might have been a huge sponsor and partner way back in the day, because I'll tell you what, the Ripkens definitely knew how to consume them. So I'm a big tequila guy, Ian. That's how I deal with my problems. But I appreciate you. I look forward to catching up with you in the future. And if I ever make my way up to New York, I'll definitely give you a ring. And you have a great rest of your week and enjoy the press conference tomorrow.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having me on, Ryan, and best of luck.
Thank you, Ian
Thanks,
O'Connor,
Ian.
everybody.
That's some great info.
Yeah. So, and look, if you guys haven't seen it, it's on The Athletic. It's on his X page. It's at the top of the X page. I really thought it was interesting, things that we had heard. And this is why we like to have these guests on. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We try to give you the best information. And some of those things I thought was very insightful was how making sure that John, if he was going to take this, he wanted to change it. And it was going to force an ownership that had a lot of pride, but also had a great standing throughout the league. The Mara family has a great reputation. But to make some changes, John wanted a little bit more security, because the rumor was that John wanted to pick his GM. That was one of the quote unquote demands. And yet here he is. GM stays the same, but John has a little bit more power. And I think that gives Giants fans a little bit more comfortability. But you got to think, if they don't play well this year, they might change it up. They won't change John Harbaugh up, but they might change the GM up. So if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. Do this live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and then we are on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast after. All we ask is you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, and you tell a friend to tell a friend that the Ryan Ripken Show has some pretty good kids. And we like to have a good time here. What do you got?
I was just looking up some history as far as the Giants are concerned and the Mara family. Yes, the Giants were established in 1926. Phew. And they rivaled, or they challenged the American Football League champions back then. It was the Philadelphia what's, Ryan? Have any idea? Because it wasn't the Eagles.
Then, is it like a hockey team name back then? I was gonna be like the Philadelphia Bruins.
It's the Philadelphia Quakers. I never even heard of them.
Oh, of course. That was my next guess.
Philadelphia Quakers in 1926.
Oh, the Quakers. Go Quakers, man.
Yeah.
Good for them. That's a long time ago.
That was a very long time ago. I didn't even know if football was like that popular that long ago. But it makes sense because the Bears have been around that long time. I think 1903 or something.
The Bears have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what? They have been around for a while. Hey, who hasn't been around for a while has been the Baltimore Ravens. It's only been 30 years. It's crazy to think, actually, that's 30 years
I know
that the Baltimore Ravens have been.
They're still baby franchise.
Still baby when you're looking at the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But, the interesting part with that conversation, and it revolves around the whole which job is better. Buffalo Bills opening, Baltimore Ravens opening. I thought Ian made a good point. It's, who do you think in his mind is the better quarterback, or what do you value on a legacy standpoint, right? You win in Buffalo, you're a legend. They've never won. It would be the most iconic thing for that city. And those people are dying for it. I made a lot of friends up there, which, fellas, when the schedule comes out, I'm praying it's after baseball season, because we're doing a road trip to Buffalo. I know a place. I know a tailgate. We're going to it. They are phenomenal people. They're passionate people, those fans, just like Baltimore fans. But they haven't tasted a Super Bowl victory, right? So I thought that was interesting. But fellas, this is the debate right now. Both teams are under extreme pressure going into 2026. Both teams moved on from their head coach because they didn't get to the Super Bowl. Again, now John Harbaugh had, but in the Lamar Jackson era, the Ravens have not. Josh Allen, in the Josh Allen era, in the Sean McDermott era, they did not, and they moved on, which it's an interesting debate here, and I don't know where we want to start with this, but personally for me, if I'm looking at, and that's the bias of it, the organizational structure, I thought McDermott getting fired really shocked me. Harbaugh getting fired, we understood the last couple years.
There was some writing on the wall.
And they missed the playoffs this year. So It was like, okay, I get that. And I trust what Bisciotti has done. I trust what the Ravens have done throughout the whole time of it. So if I'm a head coach coming into Baltimore, I feel like that stability is still going to be there. I trust the organization. I was shocked that Sean McDermott got canned And I know the way that they lost. But other than that, they had heartbreaking losses against Kansas City, who has gone to the Super Bowl. And then the Bengals, that's the other team that has gone to the Super Bowl. Those are the only two teams that have gone to the Super Bowl in the last, 7 years in the AFC. The only other team during the Mahomes era was the Brady-led Patriots. Tom Brady's retired, so that's not a problem anymore. But do you have an opinion on this, Brad, of which job you like better?
For me, I think it has to be the Ravens. The only reason I say this, and yeah, we're a Baltimore-based show. We're all Ravens fans here. But the truth of the matter is Brandon Beane should also be fired if you're going to fire Sean McDermott.
He got it promoted to president of football operations.
I know, which makes no sense to me because when you think about, there isn't a household name other than James Cook on that offense. Brandon Cooks maybe, but he's not exactly the guy he used to be. But there isn't a household name on that side of the offense not named Josh Allen or James Cook.
Mm-hmm.
And even on the defensive side, that defense was just riddled with injuries. In my opinion, that had nothing to do with Sean McDermott and his ability to coach a team to the Super Bowl. It has everything to do with the personnel that was put there for Josh Allen to work with. He's had no real number one wide receiver since Stephon Diggs, and Brandon Beane hasn't done anything to replace him. In my opinion, if you're going to fire a guy like Sean McDermott for his performance, despite taking the team to a divisional round with basically a skeleton crew, then you got to fire Brandon Beane too. That makes no sense to me. So for that reason, I think stability in Buffalo is now questionable. And so, and in Baltimore, it's not. And you have the talent that's more than just Lamar Jackson and crew. You have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Isaiah Likely, maybe, Mark Andrews. That's just on the offensive side of the ball. I think, in my opinion, it's still the Ravens because of those reasons.
I'm with you on that. And Zach, before I flip to you, just to give you the final, the record for Sean McDermott before getting fired here in Buffalo. He's going to finish with a 98-50 regular season record as the Bills head coach. That's a .662 win percentage. They've won 11 or more games every single year since 2020. And in that span, 3 of those years, they won 13 games. They have been to 2 AFC championship games, which they both lost to the Chiefs. And the other game was a divisional game where the Chiefs tied the game with 9 seconds to go in that wild finish where Josh Allen had a great moment that the Bills couldn't close on. The Chiefs move on. And then, Sean McDermott, he's got 16 playoff games. They're 8-8. So, I mean, look, if you don't win the Super Bowl, it's going to add up when you lose games. But I wanted to throw that out there. Zach, where do you stand? You agree with Brad and me, or do you want to go to the Bills side?
No, like I said, I'll have a 2-part answer because I agree a lot with what Brad said. I'm not shocked at all that Sean McDermott. I'm not surprised that Sean McDermott got canned. It felt like, honestly, it could have come at any number of times recently. It felt like kind of the writing was on the wall, building up to what it was with Harbaugh in Baltimore. Didn't shock me at all that they canned him. Honestly, when I saw it, I was like, oh, wow. It was more of a they actually did it than it was, this is out of left field. But like Brad said, I was with you until the Brandon Beane thing. Like, clear house. Hey, we're restarting. Hey, let's get some fresh life in there. That, to me, would have made more sense. And it felt like almost that Sean was scapegoated, not for Josh Allen, but for Brandon Beane.
Yes.
And Mina Kimes tweeted this out earlier today, and I couldn't agree more. She said, I watched that game between the Broncos and Bills, and not once did I think this is a coaching issue, but multiple times I thought they don't have the personnel for this. They don't have the bodies. The guys that they got aren't making an impact. Like it wasn't, oh, dang, they have so much talent. Why are they not getting the ball to so-and-so? Oh, with the Ravens, why are we not handing it off to Derrick Henry more? Oh, why are you not finding this guy in the big moment? Why are you not finding this guy? Are we supposed to throw 100 screens to Shakir a game? Hand it off to James Cook? Run Josh Allen power for the 50th time on the red zone? Like, it just felt like there's not – because what else were you going to do? Besides Dalton Kincaid Like the tight end room is good, but those were kind of after Shakir. I mean, Keon Coleman,
and he was inactive for some games for all that. And that was supposed to be their guy.
Exactly. And it just feels like they didn't have the players. And this isn't even something that's like new. Like going into the season, we had questions about the Bills personnel. And I think the biggest thing is I think Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, and I'll give James Cook his flowers too, they willed and carried this team to the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't think the talent, especially you could talk about Ed Oliver and them getting hurt defensively and all that. I just thought if they were going to restart, they need to restart the whole thing, because I do think it starts up top.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have the talent. The Bills, Josh Allen, we talk about since Stephon Diggs, like they played it perfectly on how to get your young quarterback a star receiver to help his development. And then it kind of got weird with Diggs. They had to move on. And it's almost like they were like, all right, Josh, that was your guy. It's on you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Like, it's all like, sorry, like we tried the whole Stephon Diggs thing. We tried the wide receiver one thing. Now, if you could just do your thing without one, that would be cool. And I don't think it's on McDermott. I think it was holistically the entire organization, but it starts with the players they brought in. They have not done well.
They haven't. And here's the thing too, when we're talking about one team wins and your expectations to win the Super Bowl, right? That's what you're going for. You're not for, hey, let's get to the playoffs. But there is something to be said to get to the playoffs, because guess what? Last time I checked, you can't win a Super Bowl if you don't punch your ticket to the postseason. The Buffalo Bills, 8 of the 9 years, have gone to the postseason with Sean McDermott as their head coach. And the one year they missed, I believe, was Josh Allen's rookie year, the same year that, because Josh and Lamar were in the same draft class, right? If I'm not mistaken.
You
Yep.
are not.
They went 6-10. The next year they made the postseason and they lost in the first round. And since that loss in 2019, they've won at least one playoff game every single year since then. That's consistency. And I'm with you guys. I mean, look, as much I hate the narratives around the quarterbacks and, keeping the energy. And Brad, we talked about it. Keep the same energy for every player.
Yeah.
Don't be one way about, oh, well, I feel bad for Josh to get there, and then say something else about Lamar. If they play like shit, they play like shit. If they play great, they play great. But here's the reality for Buffalo. You're right. When you look around objectively, Baltimore, the talent, the structure, the scheme, it makes way more sense. Now, the one thing that I guess you could argue, the division is weaker in the AFC East. The Patriots are going to be there, but then huge question marks with the Dolphins and the Jets. Like,
there's no question marks with the Jets. You know what they are.
It's the Jets are the Jets. Yeah. Like the AFC North, the Bengals are going to be better next year.
Yeah.
They will. I mean, let's not be naive. Burrow's healthy and they got their weapons. I don't know how their defense is going to be, but they're going to be competitive. Pittsburgh, I'm curious. Cleveland, their hire is going to be important, but Cleveland's defense has a lot of talent. It's just that division, how it matches up is always tough. But when you look at that still, Baltimore still stands the strongest. If you're going to make the comparison, the AFC East, the Patriots could become the formidable team to beat in the AFC East. Baltimore, to me, still is the team to beat in the AFC North. So
it's no question, dude. I mean, as you're saying this, I'm just thinking to myself, the Ravens for the foreseeable future should probably win that division, at least the next 2 out of 3 years. And the only reason I say that is because for reasons you just mentioned. Steelers have no head coach as of right now. They don't even know if they're going to have a quarterback. And then the defense is old. TJ Watt's getting up there in age. Like, where are the Steelers? And the Bengals are going to be the same Bengals that they were this past year. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be, and the Browns are going to be the Browns. There's question marks around everything other than, in my opinion, you plug and play a great head coaching candidate like a Brian Flores or in my opinion, Robert Saleh would be great too. A Robert Saleh, Mike McDaniel combo. I don't know how likely it is, but that would be incredible to see in Baltimore. If that happens, then you can forget about it for the rest of the division.
I mean, it's just setting up that way. And I think the whole part of this, Yeah, the Bills, they had a lot of issues. They blew a huge opportunity because I think it's fair to say, especially how the Bills have already beaten the Patriots in a game this year at Foxborough, came back. They lost a tight one in Buffalo. It was going to be a coin flip for them, but they had a legit shot to get to the Super Bowl. And for the reasons why, they didn't get it done. But you're going to move on from that? You make that decision, well, you better feel really good about what you're building moving forward. In Baltimore, at least, it never was a matter of what the talent was. Is could you get back to being the Ravens, playing like a Raven? And could you get over a hump that the Ravens haven't been back to, and that's a Super Bowl? And that's been 13 years now. 2012, 2013 season since Baltimore has gone back to the Super Bowl. And with the teams that the Ravens have had and the team that the Ravens still possess, that to me looks like a great opportunity. Comes with a lot of expectations. And I know we're biased with that, but I'm going to take the organization that's won 2 Super Bowls, has that structure, has the mob boss Bisciotti up there to make the right choice, and we'll see how it all goes. But if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, Ryan Ripken Show. We're live Monday through Friday right here at 3 p.m. on YouTube, X, and Facebook. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button. If you want to be a part of the channel membership on YouTube, click that join button. We'd really appreciate that. It helps us enhance this experience for you. And make sure you are following and subscribing on the Apple and Spotify. Leave us a review. It helps us out tremendously. People helping people is one of the many mottos here on the show. And before we continue on with this stream, Zach, we must go take an auto stream, perhaps.
I don't know if we go with we have to take an auto stream. I think it's we move to auto stream.
The way you put shit together lately has been something.
Yeah, we're just.
Hey, there you go. Hey, our friends over at AutoStream Car Care Center partnered with them for the 2026 year. And hey, look, here's the deal. You go there, you get $50 off any service for your car. There's 10 locations located throughout Maryland. Just say, I saw the ad on the Ryan Ripken Show, or just mention, hey, Ryan Ripken sent me over here, $50 off any service right there at AutoStream Car Care Center. And if you want to see some interesting content with me in the shop, there's more coming out on Instagram at Ryan Ripken Show. Now from that stream, back to this stream. Is that better, Zach? Does that make you happy?
Much better.
Way
much better exit than entrance.
Yes.
That was a strong stream right there. It was a strong stream.
It was a strong stream.
Oh, goodness gracious. We got some good kids in the building here. Got Brad behind, Zach. Nate is just chilling again. Nate, we're going to see if Nate will get another chance. It's hard to see Nate. He disappears.
Yep.
Just throw your hand up. There he is.
There
He's
he
a
is.
good
There he
kid.
is.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
He's a good kid. Well, we do have a lot of baseball to talk about. And I think for football, I think the job decision between the Ravens and the Bills, that was juicy. We had Ian O'Connor on. That was juicy stuff right there. I'll be honest, to give you an idea of who the Ravens should hire as their next head coach, there's 16 candidates, and Sean McDermott might get added to that. So why don't we see who they're going to make the finalist? We'll get more into that, and that could be tomorrow. But we do owe you guys some baseball content. So why don't we take our trip around Maryland, brought to you by our friends over at Next Move Charm City. Always over and under 3 seconds. But here at the Ryan Ripken Show, we always take the under. Correct, Zach?
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm getting it. Nope.
We got it.
I was editing something.
Boom.
Else and we didn't think we were going back-to-back promos.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You know what Drake did? He went back to back. You know that song?
Yes.
Oh, man.
We're
Oh,
on
man. Not again. Around Maryland. Brought to you by our friends over at Next Move Charm City and the Bellinger team at Lone Depot. And if you are looking to make your next move, whether it's suburb, city, or shore, make the right move with Next Move Charm City. Appreciate Shannon, Brett, and Rich of the Bellinger team over at Lone Depot. And guys, Maryland, by the way, if we're gonna go to baseball here in a second, but the Terps got their first win in the Big Ten last night with Buzz Williams. No applause.
It was
okay.
They It was a good one. It got scary for a second. Up 30 at half, and then suddenly it's down to I think 8 at one point in the second with like 10 minutes left. Definitely got the nerves, but yeah.
Did you bet that game?
No, I did not. I don't trust.
You were just betting. What the hell were you betting the other night?
Oh, yes, I did place a wager on Korean women's basketball and Australia.
Wow.
Did you win?
Yes.
You are. You are a degenerate's degenerate.
Well, it was Well, like this was this is not something I do often. It was more just the group was like, oh,
let's throw it out there.
Like, it was like, what's next? And you look at the live sports, and like everything is either in Japan, Korea, or Australia that was happening at the moment.
You would be an incredible penny stock trader. Is all I'm saying.
So I just we had to do what we had to do, but yeah, it was profitable. It was profitable.
Was it like a money line over under?
We would
Spread?
wait for the for the games to start, and then we would wait for the over under to rise like at the start of the game, and then as soon as we thought it was like hitting its peak, we would hammer the under. We also were realizing just how many different rules are happening. Like in Korean women's basketball, if you're fouled in the paint, no matter what, it's a free throw. Don't bet the under if you knew that, because suddenly it's like a minute in, someone just gets a random foul on a rebound. It's like, we're going to shoot free throws. That's like, why are we attempting?
Were you actually watching this, or was it just?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was the grainiest. You couldn't even really tell.
My God,
you
dude.
couldn't see players' faces or anything. It was so grainy. It was like it looked like a high school production.
Wow.
Yeah, but
I'm learning a lot here.
Australia's though, production incredible.
Oh.
They were in some sort of dome, like convention center, like almost like what I assume the inside of the Sphere looks like in Vegas. It was super cool.
Well, you know what? When I'm up late and I'm thinking about gambling on women's basketball in Korea and Australia, I'm going to think about what has the better viewing experience.
You need to.
So I can hammer. So I can hammer the under.
Speaking of the Sphere and around Maryland,
Yeah.
how about that?
Yeah, mini Sphere.
Did you see that? Rick?
No.
The Sphere's coming to Maryland, bro.
In what?
Yes.
Yeah, in
Where?
miniature version.
In PG County.
Wait, a mini sphere?
Yeah.
Like from the Vegas sphere?
Yes.
Is coming here.
Correct. It is.
Intern Nate's giving us a thumb. You didn't give me a thumbs up, Nate.
National Harbor.
No way.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't see that.
When's it being built? I didn't know about this.
20 was it 2030? Something like that.
2030. Okay, so what year is it? Okay, so we got 4 years until it comes in. But that's interesting.
Well, until it's like open. You
The
know,
mini-
I think they're starting, all the early stuff now, but yeah.
The mini sphere.
Yeah. There's a 16 by 16 resolution. What's that? 16,000, instead of like 4K, it's 16K.
You know what? Do we have a sketch of this thing?
Yeah, it's
Not the Vegas sketch,
no,
but
no.
of like what this is.
Yeah,
gonna
there's a
look like
rendering.
there.
Hold on. Yeah, I got you.
We'll need to see the rendering here because this is very interesting. I mean, bobblehead.
Can't
Cal,
believe I'm breaking this to you.
bobblehead Cal is in disbelief right now.
I got you.
His head's actually kind of popping off here. Oh, it literally popped off.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ,
Nope.
man.
Sorry. Oops. Okay.
All right, hold on. Here it is.
Yes.
It's coming up
Yes.
right here.
I'm.
There it is. There's the rendering.
I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I love it right there. Like I know I would go see it, but I'm looking at that photo. It's not as cool as the Vegas one.
Well, if you put, if you
That's just a
make
rendering.
it look like.
Thanks,
the
Nate.
whole
It's just a
time.
rendering. Thank you, man. Appreciate
What
it.
about this one?
Now that I can get behind. Slap some Old Bay on it and I'm in.
It makes everything better.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. That's what it is right there. That is. Look at that thing. Now we're talking.
It's gonna hold 6,500 people. Oh, this is actually a badass one. Hold on a second.
We actually have different like
There's different renderings. Hold on. This
The
one,
hip Old Bay one is pretty electric.
it's not as electric as this one.
Oh, that one is popping.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Now I'm getting excited. These are great. The first one though, when it looked like Google Earth, just sitting there, and I was like, these I can get behind. Okay, look at us.
That's pretty cool though. Look
at this. That'll be great. I'm excited to see how this all turns out.
Yeah,
I am. Well, that's cool. That's coming to Maryland. That's around Maryland. Well, let's go around Maryland and back to Baltimore, shall we? Let's go to the baseball side. That was a lot of the call-ins I had this morning on 105.7 was about the Orioles. Shocking, right? Pitching. One of the Orioles getting more pitching. Are they going to sign the ace? I'll be honest. I don't really know if they're going to sign said ace. They could sign a former ace. There's rumors out there, Zach, that the Orioles could be bringing in a former ace, a man in his 40s. It definitely would get Birdland feeling some type of way.
What?
It was the most predictable.
The Orioles signing a 40-plus-year-old starting pitcher? Why would they do such a thing? I can't believe they've never done something like that before.
At the beginning of the offseason, I actually put out a tweet about someone tweeting saying the Orioles are in on all the top pitchers, and I said, "Welcome to Birdland, Justin Verlander," and as a complete joke, but it makes sense. Not that it would help. I don't think it would make sense to win, but as an Oriole fan, having sites set up here and then settling for another day in the office in Birdland, to be honest. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it would be really cool if this was 2012. That would be sick right now. I'd be so hyped.
I didn't say Houston Astro level. That would be, and the price point would be way up to be honest. But I'll say this. I'm fine with the move. And I know that this is an unpopular opinion right here. I like the move. And for what Brooks said, the problem that people have when there's a 40-year-old pitcher is you're worried, when would the wheels fall off?
Yeah.
And what happened last year, Charlie Morton had some problems. He was really good for stretches, and he was really bad for other stretches because things weren't connecting the dots for him as far as the physical and the mental was just off for him. So, but the difference here is Charlie Morton was signed and then had to be your 1 or 2. Right now, Justin Verlander, if you sign him, he's going to be your 4 or 5 or 6. So I'm fine with that move, to be honest, because why? Depth. You need pitching depth. And if Justin Verlander can surprise you and do that, then you're going to say, hey, Mike Elias and co, thank you if this deal goes through. But it's a depth piece. We see the difference on signing a 40-year-old. Last year, the Orioles, Charlie Morton was the 1 or 2 going into spring training. He was the 1 or 2. Verlander would be the 4 or 5. What do you got, Brad?
I just want to ask you a question. How
Please.
many starting pitchers pitched under 4 ERA last year?
Oh, I had this earlier. Well, I know for Dean Kramer, he was just over 4, and so now he was the 35th. So I think that number is going to be around 30.
Out of how many?
Out of any qualified pitchers? Qualified starters, 150.
150.
Yeah.
So 385. That's not bad, especially if you get him at a bargain.
I mean, well, if he pitches a 385, he'd be one of the top 30 pitchers in baseball, and there's 30 MLB teams.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm with you. That's why I'm saying the hate for it, I like it as the depth move. I think that everyone just got this perception in their mind of, dear God, no, the whole Steve Carell office meme because of what happened with Charlie Morton. It's a completely different situation than last year.
Yes.
But go ahead.
I also think that this is just something that the O's are also doing at the same time they're pursuing a top-end pitcher. There's this perception from the fan base that why are we doing this when we should be getting Valdez? No one's saying that they're not. I think that's just the perception of hey, they're doing multiple transactions at the same time. It's not we'll get Valdez and then worry about whoever later. I think Verlander could get picked up rather quickly because he would be a bargain piece. So in my opinion, I think it's like, hey, let's just cool it for a little bit. We're adding more depth, which was the big problem last year.
Huge.
And this is just hey, it's a good move. I don't think it's like a blockbuster.
Who moves out of the rotation? Like, who is he better than currently on the rotation?
So it would have to, in my opinion,
because you're moving Dean.
I think you move Eflin. Dino's been the most consistent.
Well, but
people are going to hate this.
Saying, but
the most consistent pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles of the last 3 seasons has been Dean Kramer,
and the most innings.
Dean just eats up innings, man.
Dean
just eats them up.
Dean doesn't go anywhere. Zach Eflin for sure.
Right, like that's what it'd be.
So is Eflin out of the bullpen now?
I don't know, Jim.
I think if you're going to add a guy, it needs to be someone that moves, not just we're hoping this 42-year-old who had a 4.6 ERA between March 25th and July 31st last year. Like all of his metrics and everything are career lows last year. He is a shell of his former self. Now, he was a Cy Young and, one of the top pitchers of his time at that moment, but that was 8 years ago at this point. I mean, I just don't think last year this would have made sense. I think right now with what you have, I don't think Justin Verlander moves the needle at all.
He's not supposed to move the needle. That's my point.
But then why are we
needle mover?
Then that's just a waste. That's making a move to make a move. Now, I would rather trust Zach Eflin coming back, finally feeling himself, because we saw healthy Zach Eflin end of 24. I mean, that was the best pitcher on the Orioles.
Right now they have.
I just don't think Verlander.
I think but here's the thing is, what happened last year, the Orioles pitching?
So are you saying
decimated?
Yeah, but so is Verlander now accepting a role?
I think if he signs here, it's the acceptance of one of those guys, either the Eflin or Verlanders, are going to have to understand that they're going to have a different role going into this season.
Yeah.
And my guess is, if that's the case, if you're trying to preserve, maybe it's Justin or Eflin's trying to come back and be fully healthy, they make that decision. You're not going to mess with Dean or Boz or Rogers or Bradish. But the problem is that it's proven, at least for the Orioles, they don't have the trust in their starting pitching prospects yet to come up and be the guys. That was the biggest issue last year.
Yes.
Guys went down. You didn't feel like you had the spots to be filled. I love what Brandon Young could possibly be, but last year that was asking a lot from a guy when he was trying to figure out how to be a big leaguer and the team was playing at a brutally bad stretch over courses of the season. So in this case,
do you think they could sign both a Framber and a Verlander?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without question.
So now who leaves if you sign? But I think if you sign Verlander, they're out on everyone else. Because I just don't see, we can talk about depth, but eventually now depth is turning into a lot of these starters aren't guys that are having options or that you're going to send down. Like you're not going to send Dean or Eflin down to AAA. I know Eflin, we're going to see where he's at the beginning of the year, but I think if you bring in Verlander and then you bring Framber in or you bring someone else in, now it's okay.
It's no different, bro.
Eflin, unless we go
it's
to
no
a
different than what
rotation.
the Dodgers have done with their depth. It's no different than that.
But their depth is Kyle Tucker. Ours is 43.
No, we're not talking. We're talking pitching.
No,
we're talking pitching. Last year,
pitching.
the reason the Dodgers went to the World Series and won was because of their pitching. How many injuries did they have? And they still went.
Yeah, but I just don't see I think for vibes, for like helping young guys, but I just don't think, like you said, we are, he turns 43 in a month and 2 days, month and 1 day. I think if you are going to get somebody, I would much rather them target somebody else just on the market that isn't in their 40s, because we saw last year, Charlie Morton, after he put it together, was incredible.
Yeah.
And then he shit the bed so bad in Detroit and fell off because age caught up. Like that eventually happened to where he got DFA'd. So it's like,
which is why I don't think Justin Verlander, wherever he goes, is going to be a bona fide starter. I just don't see that happen.
Here's my honest assessment of this. So you're going back to the part, would the Orioles bring Verlander and Framber in? hypothetically, yes, but realistically, they probably wouldn't do both. Realistically,
yeah.
But hypothetically, from a depth standpoint, yes, but it all depends on where is Zach Eflin's health in this situation.
Yeah.
If he feels great going into spring training, then that answer is kind of going to be figured out. I think for Justin, and maybe as soon as we finish this, watch him just sign. Watch that happen
with the Phillies.
But I think Justin is waiting on what happens here with Framber Valdez. I do, because once that's done, then it's going to be Zach Gallen. Who is going to make a move for Zach Gallen? And then Justin's going to find a ways at the end of his career. He wants to go to a team that I believe he's going to try to win one more World Series. Yeah. So he's going to try to find the best opportunity to help out. So hypothetically, if he views Baltimore as that, he could take on that role. But if he's trying to find a team where he wants to win, but also wants to have more of a rotation spot, then he's going to wait for the Framber Valdez deal to be done. So that kind of leads into this question. Do the Orioles, or I guess in this case, who is more desperate to be signed in this case that really that team can't be without? So we've heard the name Framber Valdez. The Orioles that desperate that they can't win without Framber. The reason why I'm bringing this question up is because that was actually brought up about another player that is still currently a free agent and is currently weighing options that could keep him in the AL East or take him out of it. But I'll tell you what, Harold Reynolds on MLB Network talked about this said player, and I think you can read between the lines. It involves the Yankees, and he thinks that the Yankees can't retain this guy. It would be one of the biggest losses for any team this offseason. Let's play that clip.
Mathis, who covers the New York Yankees for the New York Star-Ledger, had this tweet. The Yankees have made an internal decision not to engage in a bidding war for Cody Bellinger if the Mets or anyone else swoops in. Yankees believe they've made a fair proposal, 5 years, $160 million, a couple of opt-outs. They're prepared to let Bellinger walk.
Oof.
Harold, your reaction to that?
Well, I don't like to tell people how to spend their money, but I think he's worth the money.
Me too.
For that club and all the things that he does and he brings, I know you don't get in a bidding war and get stupid with money, but I wouldn't shut it down. Remember last week they said they came to an impasse and there wasn't much conversation. Next day there was conversation. So I don't know what to look at or what to take, but I am telling you right now the Yankees will not be the same team without this guy. And he couldn't have had it go any better with Bregman going to Chicago and the doors that opened up that happened just in the last little bit with Bichette signing as well. So now he's got the Yankees, the Mets, the Blue Jays, all knocking on his door, and I may be leaving out one other team. But those three teams right there all could use him because he could impact that club.
No, that's a good point, obviously.
And Tucker signed with the Dodgers. That was the other thing.
You know, I think, and this was brought up on one of the shows last week, that if for some reason, I think that we have not seen the best of Jason Dominguez. So if for some reason Bellinger isn't in the picture and this means an elevated role for Jason Dominguez, I think he's going to take it by the reins and do well with it. But to your point, Cody Bellinger really fixes a lot for that lineup, and he gives them so much flexibility. The defense at the outfield, also at first base, that would be a big, big loss for me if the Yankees don't bring him back.
No, because of all the things you just said. He plays everywhere. You're looking at the highlights, everything he can do. And he covers Dominguez because we don't know what he's going to do. I think Dominguez will hit, but he does not defend well in left field. Let's just face it. He hasn't played well up there. And you're not going to move him to center now. You brought Grisham back, who took the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
So the Yankees are locked in. But I've said this now for about a week. You cannot discount playing in New York City. It is a different animal.
No, he's proved it.
And he's proven he can do it.
So right there, Harold's saying, hey, you know what? New York, you let Bellinger walk, and I agree with him. I don't see this Yankees offense as potent, like drastically as potent. Now, when you have Aaron Judge in the lineup, They're going to be okay. Like they will be fine. But Cody Bellinger was a big, big piece for them.
Yeah.
And so when we're looking at this desperation piece here, I think the team that would look the most different if we're comparing Framber Valdez from being a Baltimore Oriole to Cody Bellinger being a New York Yankee, I got to go with the Yankees not having Bellinger there because their rotation should be good. If they're healthy for them, should be one of the top in baseball.
Yeah.
Should. But their offense would be a big concern. But also their defense takes a good hit. Cody Bellinger, what he proved is that we all knew his versatility as a defender, but people were wondering would he bounce back to that Cody Bellinger that was an MVP out with the Dodgers. And over the last couple of years, he's proved it, and he's played in one of the toughest environments to play in New York City and done extremely well last year. So, yeah, I'm with Harold on that. Cody Bellinger, if he goes to the Mets or goes to the Blue Jays, drastically is going to impact the Yankees. For the Orioles case, Framber is a want. And, of course, you want him, but it's not a full-on need. They need more pitching, but they don't have to overpay, in my opinion, for Framber. They can still explore other options and have success. People aren't going to like this opinion with the Orioles either. If you run with this Orioles starting rotation to start the year and say they add a depth piece, Zach, if it's Verlander or somebody else, that starting rotation will win games. Now, will the Orioles probably have to make an aggressive move if they're in it at the trade deadline? Absolutely. But it's not that they're desperate from a roster standpoint right now. New York, I don't know what their offense, and if they get off to a slow start, what that would look like. And I don't know if you guys feel similarly. I mean, I know I think you do, Brad.
I feel similarly. My big thing about this offer that the Yankees have allegedly provided for them is not far off from the Pete Alonso deal. Mm-hmm. And that, like, this doesn't seem like it's out of reach for bigger market teams like a New York Mets, for example. If the Yankees aren't willing to budge on this, it almost kind of feels like the Mets have it in the bag. Why wouldn't they go after Cody Bellinger, especially after losing Pete Alonso? This doesn't seem like it's that far of a stretch. You get a big outfielder that can hit, that can play defense. My big concern for the Yankees, if I was a Yankees fan or if I was in that organization, would be the defense. The defense was not good last year, and it hasn't been good for several years. And so you're losing a big offensive piece, and then your defense gets worse. I just don't like that for the Yankees, despite, whatever their pitching rotation looks like.
I mean, it's just a huge factor. And Cody Bellinger, you mentioned the Mets. I mean, the Blue Jays, they offered a big deal for Kyle Tucker too.
Yeah.
So
and they're still looking for an outfielder.
So that's the part there. And then on the Orioles side, Zach, I understand, that Framber, hey, you plug Framber into this rotation, you're going, damn, these birds, the excitement level will be through the roof. We did a stream on that, it'd be through the damn roof.
Oh my God.
But to point out, at least for the Orioles, this is why I'm saying it's a want, not a need right now. Kyle Bradish, if he's healthy, is going to be, in my opinion, a top 5 pitcher in the American League, in the Cy Young.
Trevor Rogers.
If Trevor Rogers is 80% of what he was last year, he's an unbelievable number 2. Because I'm not going to say that he's going to do what he did last year. If he does, he's going to win the Cy Young.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're looking at Dean, innings eater. We just got to learn to get Dean out of the month of April cleanly.
Just start him in May.
But then Shane Baz, he's the wild card for me. Because Baz, and I see your comment there, Brooks, and I 100% agree, Baz's stuff is nasty. It's elite. But Kenny in his post-Tommy John era, 1 year now removed from a full season, can he start to showcase that? If he does, this Orioles staff takes a huge bump. But that's, right now, Zach, it's a lot of ifs. And that's why I think fans, and I hear you, right? That's what fans are worried about is, will this staff do it? If the staff gets this done, if the staff pitches well. With Framber Valdez, you're like, well, it's not an if Framber pitches well. Framber's proven he pitches well. He's done it for years. He's been a workhorse at Houston. And if you have him in your lineup, he's one of those pitchers in your rotation that when he gets the ball, do you feel like you're going to win that day? Yeah, you feel pretty damn good about it.
Yeah, and I just don't think, when going back to the original question of who's it, Bellinger more valuable for the Yankees not having him, or Framber to the Orioles, it's Bellinger for the Yankees, because fifth on the team last year in batting average, fifth in OPS, second in RBIs, fourth in homers, second in hits, second in runs, fourth in walks. I mean, he gets on base. He is, defense aside, he was kind of that second guy for a lot of the time last year. Jazz Chisholm came and went, obviously, but he was the guy that came in to replace Juan Soto and did pretty well, especially when you compare their numbers. If New York loses Bellinger, this entire offseason is just a colossal failure. I mean, New York needs to be smashing the panic button, because this lineup, like Aaron Judge and friends, isn't doing it justice, because it's Aaron Judge. Please will this team somehow to 90 wins, because you're hoping Jazz has the exact same production.
Yep.
You're hoping Ben Rice takes that step. You're hoping Trent Grisham, after a far and beyond career year, takes and stays on that level. You're hoping Ryan McMahon obviously can bring it back together outside of Coors Field. Jason Dominguez is the biggest question mark on earth. I like Austin Wells, but is he a bona fide top-end catcher? Not really. He needs to take a step. Giancarlo Stanton ain't getting any younger. It just feels like the Yankees, if they lose out on him, I really do not know where they go. They probably have to bring Slater back. I don't know where New York goes offensively. This has the potential to be a bad lineup, not a underperforming lineup, not a, hey, they could be better. This has the potential to be a bad lineup, and God forbid Aaron Judge has to miss, let's say something happens, he has to even miss a month.
Yeah.
That pitching staff is really good, but that can also lead to a lot of, hey, Yankees lost 2-1.
Still got to score.
Yeah, exactly. And who's protecting? I would put Aaron Judge. If this was the lineup right now, I would almost just tell Aaron Judge to take first base no matter what, because Cody Bellinger, having him behind or wherever you want, it gave more protection in the lineup, where Cody gets on base so you can't walk Judge to put the guy in scoring position. They just enter a very scary territory offensively if they can't get Bellinger. And that's why I'm so shocked about these comments of they won't engage in a bidding war. They better, because who else? Who else is out there? This isn't hey, we're not getting into a bidding war with Tucker. I get that, because your sights are okay. I don't want to waste all this on energy on Tucker, and then all of a sudden we get a bad deal. We don't like the deal when we can go get Bellinger. That's one thing. But to not get Tucker, and then Bellinger is the last guy, that Harrison Bader is the next best. And I don't know, that's a big drop off, even with the career year from Harrison Bader. So if the Yankees lose out on Bellinger, they have to trade for someone. They would have to make a move, because I don't think that this lineup is going to be good enough 1,000% healthy, not even taking into account the full 162 of, hey, players are going to miss time, players are going to miss a game here or there. I just think that they are in a bad state offensively if they don't get Bellinger back.
Well, they would have to do a huge pivot, Zach. They would have to hugely pivot. And maybe they do like the Red Sox, and we're like, you know what, we're going to our next priority. It's not a bat. We're just going to go get Ranger Suarez. Maybe it's them saying, screw it, we're going to go trade for Freddie Peralta, and we're just going to make our pitching rotation the best in baseball. The Yankees very well could do that, because I don't know what other name out there that they would really say, I'm intrigued, this is what I want to do. So if it's not Belly, I think they just change their philosophy and they look to be aggressive elsewhere. But for the Yankees, look, you do that, you are living and dying by the health of Aaron Judge. You're right. If Aaron Judge goes down, this offense is going to have an extremely hard time staying afloat. And if he's on, then you know what? Aaron Judge is an MVP again. Then great. He could carry an offense, but then you're stuck with the same conversation you had last year in the postseason. Who else is going to make noise with Aaron Judge and that Yankees lineup? Judge actually balled out in the postseason for them. Problem was no one else did.
Yeah.
A lot of strikeouts. Why'd the Blue Jays go to the World Series? Everybody hit. And their superstar, Vlad Guerrero Jr., also was on fire. So let us know what you guys think. But no doubt, Yankees got to make a decision here. And I feel like that desperation, if they don't get Bellinger, Yankees fans, this is going to be an off season that they're going to let the front office hear about, especially if they get off to a slow start in 2026. But if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live every Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's where you can find us. I'm going to be double the dipping, Zach, moving forward. I'm doing the Hot Stove Show for 105.7 from 6 to 7. And we're going to be just rocking and rolling, man. But we're trying to put out as much content as we can for all of you. We got a great team. We're adding on. We're having fun. We have the best studio pup. Oh, Ollie's sleeping over there. He's such a beast. Such a handsome beast, just like his father, right, Zach?
Where's his father?
Right here.
Oh,
I'm a golden retriever. You don't believe that?
I'm just gonna keep quiet over here. I think that's just probably
Just gonna open a whole can of worms.
I just think we're just the Orioles.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. So, and
Ryan's a furry. We didn't even know.
Yeah. What?
You don't know what a furry is?
No.
Oh, Eric Bieniemy back in
Zach, you know what a
Kansas City.
furry is? Yeah. Okay.
I'm a
You're a
little
fur-
confused.
Well, just look up what a furry is.
Okay. I look forward
I'm
to
not
that.
going to educate you on air about that.
That's fine. I'll do my research later on because I have no idea what you're talking about here. And for all the ones that are tuning in just now, I feel like we did. Is it something disgusting?
No, it's not
No,
disgusting.
it's not disgusting.
It's just people who dress up as animals and pretend that they're animals.
Yeah.
So that's what you think I do?
You just said that you're a golden retriever.
If I told you I'm a peacock, you got to let me fly. Does that mean I'm a freaking peacock?
No, because you're quoting a movie.
Yeah.
But you literally just said that you're his father and that you're a golden retriever. That's what you said.
Okay. You know what? We're both adorable. All right. How about that? How's that work? Okay. And I do think we covered a lot of Orioles today. I know a lot of people are saying the Yankees and the Orioles kind of goes hand in hand. And we did just talk about Framber Valdez for a while, right? Did I miss that part?
We did.
We did. We do talk about baseball all the time, but we got to cover a lot of it because right now it's the waiting game. It's the same thing for now. But also, if you are an Orioles fan, by the way, and you missed the interview with Ryan O'Hearn the other day, he was on the show last week.
It was a great interview, by the way.
Fantastic.
I'm
right?
sad that I missed it.
He's such a good kid.
I missed that guy.
I'm going to go whoop his ass down in Pittsburgh for saying I was a 5 o'clock hitter. He's not like wrong, but I would argue I wasn't even a 5 o'clock hitter some days. I would have some of the most horseshit batting practices, and I'd probably have good games. When I had good batting practices, yes, I probably did suck.
You didn't play with him, did you?
No, O'Hearn, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. We had some mutual friends, though. He's a good kid.
Yeah.
But I'd love to go down there, take some BP if I'm allowed to. I would love to test the waters on some of his athletic prowess, And maybe we can talk more about what we don't like about Gavin Sheets off the air. Because I know he was trying to be really nice, and I'm like, dude, Gavin's not that great. Come on.
When you asked him about the golf game, I was like, there's no chance that Ryan is better than Gavin at golf.
Gavin, like, if he just focused on it, I'm very convinced Gavin would have gone pro.
Yeah.
He is that good. It's annoying for me to say that. If there's one thing I'll say about the kid, he's a good kid. He is a damn good golfer. And he's got one of the best nicknames in all of baseball now in Derry Bonds.
Yeah.
It's electric.
Sure does.
That's electric. You know what else is electric? Zach.
What's that?
That hat looks good. Brand new hat.
Brand
that
new
looks
white hat.
electric.
New
He
hat.
changed it on the show last week.
Oh,
Yeah, new hat. It's new air in Baltimore. Had to break out the new hat for it.
And it's a black hat, by the
I
way.
mean, the old one was looking disgusting.
Well, and also
Yeah, it was.
it looked
horrendous.
brown.
Yeah, well, that was the big thing. People thought it was a brown hat.
It was not.
It started as black. It's just
Spoiler alert.
It's just as you wear it for close to a year, because I got it right before we went to spring training, I think.
Yes.
So, yeah,
That's why you're losing your hair.
probably
Just
is.
that
my-
stank on that hat.
Well, my mom also said about losing hair, you need to not
Wear hats.
not wear hats.
Yeah, that is
And I
a
wear
big
hats.
thing.
I was wearing the hat this morning on the Big Bad Morning Show.
Yeah.
And I took it off. I went, Wolf, these cameras make my hair look better. At the station, I'm like, damn, this looks brutal. Let me put that hat back on.
Do they just have like webcams over there or what?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why.
Sort of. But I mean, look at this look right here, man. I'm not saying I'm
That's
I'm
like
Casanova, but like it does the job.
your boy knows how to, make you look good on camera.
Yeah, we work on that. That's what we appreciate.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. And we appreciate you guys. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also, for you guys knowing for the channel memberships, I got asked about that in the future or the past, and I will tell you about it for the future. We did have our call-ins back on Friday. So Friday, we have our call-ins for our Rips Better kids. So if you want to be a part of the call-ins, hit that join button. We also will bring back some Rip After Dark, which, Nick, I'm curious what he wants to do. He's been having
If he does anything.
He's had a nice off season. He's having a good time. Talk about a guy out of the know of everything.
I haven't talked to him since he came back from Puerto Rico.
Oh my
But
goodness.
the chat was wild.
Yeah,
That was a wild Nick Moore
it was.
for sure.
It certainly was there. And we'll have some wild moments there, but really all of the channel memberships help us continue to grow. And it's been a great start to 2026 for the group here. And it's huge thanks to you guys, and continue to spread the good word on what we're up to and what we're trying to do here. That's to give you a bunch of content in so many different variations, have some fun with it, and also give you the insight you ain't going to get elsewhere. We like to pride ourselves on great guests. Today we had Ian O'Connor with The Athletic. He was covering the Harbaugh situation, and I thought he was fantastic. I know I saw some people in the comments being, did he just say Josh Allen's the best player in the world? No, your audience. Well, he said arguably. He took it back.
It's arguable.
But the one thing I took offense to, he's saying, oh, my dad would have a better book. I'm going to stop you right there, because when I make a Netflix series and I change everyone's name, that thing is going to move mountains.
Feed families.
Oh, my goodness. People don't even know some of the stories, Zach. You know what I mean?
Also,
what I mean?
I can't even imagine your dad writing a book.
Oh, he's written some books already.
Did he write them?
Well, I mean, it was co-written. He had help.
Co-written?
Yeah, he helped write them.
Okay, all right.
I mean, he's not a Shakespearean like
No.
me.
I just these people that quote unquote write books, but basically just pay somebody to write them for them, but
No,
he don't really have a role in it.
He sits there.
Okay.
Yeah, and he talk. He through the whole process, he just would need help with making it sound
Like
more
articulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the concept, yes, he would do it. And he spent the time. He's pretty dedicated. He was pretty dedicated to his career.
Oh,
He was very dedicated to the
shocking.
books. He was.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you.
All right.
Zach, am I missing
Take it
anything?
back.
Yeah, it's okay. Am I missing anything?
Eric Bieniemy just went back to the Chiefs to be the offensive coordinator.
Oh.
Lions hired the Cardinals former OC, and people do not
So
like that.
did they fire Matt Nagy? Is that what happened?
No,
Yep.
his contract is up.
They just didn't.
Yeah,
So
his
they just didn't
contract.
re-sign.
And with him, it was because of his contract expiring and him being the front runner for the Titans. The Chiefs started a offensive coordinator search.
Front runner for as a head coach for the Titans.
Yeah, for the Titans job.
Oh,
He and the GM are like best friends. That's why as soon as they hired the GM, everyone was like, oh, that means Matt Nagy's going to get the job. And he's been kind of the guy since.
so the Titans continue to be a dumpster fire, is what you're saying?
Hey, I'm curious. If the double doink doesn't happen in Chicago, is it viewed differently for Matt Nagy?
No,
1,000%.
no, I don't think so.
We got two conflicting answers there.
No, Matt Nagy was just terrible coach.
They won the North his first year? Was this
First or second, double doink to lose.
And then
everything about that. I think if he gets them to the NFC Championship, I think so.
So that's a listen.
Because that was
What was
divisional
it?
round, wasn't it?
If my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
Well, the question was
Mike
if it
Tomlin.
doesn't happen, would it be viewed differently? And I think it looks a lot different.
Yeah, but then you went on to about like NFC championships. And all
Well, no,
stuff.
that's what I'm saying, because that was it was the wild card game. I was thinking that was in the divisional round.
Hey, I'm going to do a quick test here. And actually, while I'm doing a quick test, Zach, can we jump from one stream to the other stream? Oh, hey! Auto Stream Car Care Center. Appreciate you guys. And again, $50 off when you mention Ryan Ripken. You can't combine offers, but if you go in there and you got a problem, they have 10 locations around Maryland. Take us up on the offer. $50 off any service. Cars are expensive, and you're going to be in great hands. If you don't trust me, trust all of the great reviews out there for AutoStream Car Care Center. And if you're looking for more content with Ryan at AutoStream Car Care Center, well, then go check that out on Instagram at Ryan Ripken Show. There's more coming out this week. It was a great time, and they are a great partner of us in 2026, and we might be having some new partners in the fold. Zach, before we do close this up, it is the national championship night. Miami versus the Hoosiers. I thought Brad was going to join in. He didn't.
Sorry.
You
It's
went in
okay.
too strong, I think.
Is it too strong?
Well, I think you went in and we thought you were just like taking it over.
You
It was
didn't
like
quite have the
fourth-
staccato. I was like, I didn't know where you were going with it.
Okay,
it was
you
like
know
the
what? Sorry. Time out. It was my mistake because we still are on the auto stream. We need to go back to the stream.
Yeah.
So back to the stream.
Okay.
Sorry, I was putting something else.
Oh, wow. Back to the stream.
Yeah.
So the national championship tonight between the Miami Hurricanes and the Hoosiers.
No, isn't it one more? Who
Yeah. It is.
Hoosiers? Yeah, I think that's
Hoosiers.
yeah, you were
Okay.
doing it. Who?
That's why I was
So
like,
we
what-
were like,
Yeah, you're just
we
not
were
doing it
waiting
right.
for one more who to get into the Hoosiers.
Hoosiers.
Yeah. And you got a staccato, like a who. Like really get into it.
Who?
There you
Like
go.
that?
Not the who.
Sorry, Allie.
Who.
Sorry. We're not,
Hoosiers.
stop barking. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I got to,
Okay.
who? I
Yeah.
gotta get into that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy. You were napping. That's on me. I'm sorry. He's not happy about that. But Zach, why don't we take a quick trip up to our friends at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia.
Yeah. National championship tonight. It hasn't been close. It's not going to be close.
No.
It just sucks.
I'm not even
It's
watching.
atrocious. I hate that this is happening. It's not going to be enjoyable.
Nope.
Indiana set -7.5. This thing's not going to be close. I want it to be close so bad. But I just every time, and I'm going to be honest, I had Miami +7.5 written. I had a Michael Irvin and where Signetti is. I was so ready to do it. And I was like, I'm going to speak it into existence. And I'm like, why? Like, it's just sometimes in sports, especially on the college level, mostly, there just comes a team that is just so damn good. You think of the 2019 LSU Tigers. They're just teams where you hate to say it, but they're on a different level than everyone else in the field. That's Indiana. It's been an awesome run for Miami. And in a lot of years, I think this run, they might have been able to push it into a national championship ring. But
Ain't happening.
This team is just so good. And I think Signetti, I don't believe that he is going to go out with a loss like this after this season. Like, he has had those guys so disciplined. Like, they are playing, it feels like a different game than their opponents most of the time. As much as I think it sucks, this is almost like a hedge in my mind on a bad game. It's like if we have an all-time classic and it's a close game, awesome. But if what I think is going to happen happens, this turns into a blowout, you might as well reward yourself. So Indiana -7.5, lock it in.
If
Congrats on the
Signetti,
Natty.
if he wins this game, well, he will win this game. I mean, this could be the early stages of like a Nick Saban type of run, just because of what Signetti's been able to do with a football program that was just irrelevant, non-existent.
The worst program and literally it's statistically the worst football program
Yes.
in college sports.
Right.
And this would go not just for college sports. This would be one of the greatest sports stories if Indiana were to pull this off, win the national championship. Because not just that they win the national championship, they would go undefeated.
Yeah.
And just using, I was curious if you
Never happened.
if you're going to use this photo, a Michael Irvin reference of going belt to ass. That's what they did to everybody the entire year. The only game, 2 games where it came down to the wire for them at Penn State, tough game, and then beating Ohio State, who was also undefeated at the time there as Indiana. Everybody else, they beat pretty handedly. They went to Oregon and won in resounding fashion. You're like, okay, they're going to play Oregon again. It's going to be a good rematch in the semis. And it's over at half. It's over in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting. History's on the line for Indiana. Hope it's a good game. But I'm with you. I think it's going to be the Hoosiers.
This should have been
better.
It sucks. And like I said, so happy for Miami and all their fans. There's no reason this shouldn't be Ohio State, Indiana. Like, that was the only team besides that weird game against Penn State where, like, Penn State was playing with the boost of you just fired your coach and everyone feels like the kumbaya and they come out and play for something. Ohio State, like, besides that kicker, they matched up so well with them. Like, that was such a good game. And that was the closest thing we were going to get to. Like it felt like that was the national championship, especially when they met in the Big Ten championship. Mm-hmm. You were like, these are the 2 best teams in college football. But hey, Miami beat Ohio State, so maybe they're gonna prove everyone wrong. I probably will throw something small on Miami money line just in case. Like, so if it goes that way, like, it'll be something fun to root for. And
that's checking out for you right now.
So probably take Indiana to win big and then go all the way on the other side and take Miami to win. Sprinkle on that a little bit. Plus 270, depending on where you get it. But
if you're into that type of stuff. But if you want to tail, Zach, well, best of luck. And you probably won't be alone with that. But we appreciate our friends up at Hollow Casino Charlestown Races and West Virginia. Pretty good. What do you got?
All right. I do have a question because then for everyone in the audience, this is for you as well. The scheduled kickoff time for the national championship is 7:30 on ESPN. What time do you think they kick off?
Oh, probably towards 8.
Yeah, 8:03.
I would not. It might go close. I think it's closer to like the 8:05 mark.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8:03.
It's not a 7:30 start time. That's just when the festivities for when they want to start the game.
Yeah,
countdown to kick off for the game. It's a game within the game.
Yeah,
it's just I don't see any way that this has got to be like an 8:00 kick.
Yeah.
I will say I appreciate them at least pushing that up to 7:30 and not have it start at 8 and have it be 8:30. Just make it 7 though. You know?
I will say you got to always go to the betting apps because they'll show you, they don't have it for India. They still have 7:30 for Indiana, for Miami, Indiana.
Okay.
Because usually the betting apps when you get super close, because obviously live betting compared to live bet, like they will give you an exact, like as it gets closer, you'll be like, oh, it's a 7:30 kick, and they go on a betting site and they're like, it's 7:36 is when we're kicking this thing off. So little trick there. Usually they'll give you a much better. They'll give you it. It'll be like, oh, 7:35 kickoff, and then you look on the betting site and they're like, it's 7:41 kickoff, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So,
well, can't wait. It should be a great game tonight. I'm hoping. It's going to be great for somebody. Let's put it that way. It's going to be great for Indiana. It's going to be great for Miami. Hopefully, if you're just a college football fan in general, you're just enjoying the action. But I think that covers everything. Good job today. Great start to the week.
Hey, thanks. Good, great job, fellas.
Hey, Nate, give yourself a round of applause.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, for a second, I'm curious if we can time out. Let me see if I can get a photo shot of Nate here. Hold on.
A photo shot. He's in the studio.
No. Watch. I'll show you in a second. This is with my phone. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I want to add it to the stage.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
There he is. Look at the kid. Oh my goodness. Can I zoom in? Wow. You look good. Actually,
you can't zoom in.
Yeah. You know what? Be a little bit happy. Yeah. A little enthusiasm. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Indiana's going all the way. Ollie, get him.
I'm not gonna lie.
Get him, Ollie. Good boy.
I've got. I feel like Nate over there, Rocco, cannot be in the same room.
You think they're the same person, or they
No,
piss each other off?
But they are similar people.
I can see a little bit of that.
There's a little bit of Rocco in there.
What's a better compliment? Last show when he was manning the station, he was Kevin Jr. by some, or would you rather be a Rocco Jr.?
Rocco for sure.
Or a Laura Jr. I mean Rocco. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, Nate, you want to wave goodbye?
Bye, Nate.
Oh, you're just gonna okay. Okay. You're good.
Yep.
Zach,
See, this is what I'm saying.
You're a good kid. Okay. And scene. And scene. Good kids. Okay. Should we get on out of here? Is that it?
Yep.
Is it time? All right. Cue it, Peppy.
Did you just call me Peppy?
Yeah, break it, Pepe Le Pew. That's Talladega Nights. Hey, but this is the Ryan Ripken Show, and as always, we appreciate each and every one of you. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking rest of your MLK Monday. Well, come back and join us tomorrow from 3 to 5 here on the Ryan Ripken Show on YouTube, X, and Facebook.
Who's this?
That's better. There.